Yeah, this battle is pretty much unedited, so you'll get to see me fuck everything up repeatedly. There's not a lot I can say about this. It's a grown man fighting a skull of some sort that is jammed with mandibles that is jammed up against the wall, while what I can only presume is acid rains down on him. Although given the complete overtones of the rest of this game, I'm not entirely certain it actually is acid. And the guy coughs fireballs, which I think may actually be the most normal part of this game thus far. And at this point you can pretty well see I've abandoned any pretext of doing this properly. You have no idea how much suffering this game has put me through. I've beaten it something like 5 times to get this video. I don't give a shit about doing it properly. I just want the pain to end before it can, you know, do anything too fatal to me. So a lot of this stalling isn't me not knowing what to do, it's me trying to maneuver the shadow clone in position that I can just finish the boss off quickly, and the entire exercise backfiring and costing me more time than anything else. So, you know, that I'm abusing the save state so heavily here I've stopped trying to do it, you know, with skill. It's just brute forcing the boss. And yeah, had I actually not save stated and died back then, I would have wound up back at the beginning of 7-2, which is a long, long way to come back to beat the shit out of a boss. And, you know, I can't really say anything about this boss fight. It's gone on about 5 minutes longer than I'd like it to. And I probably should have edited the save states out so this would look decent, but I already spent far too much time doing that with the actual level on the first boss fight, because the constant noise made by all this saving and loading is fucking annoying. Had I actually, you know, anything I could use to sleaze the boss to death, I would. But, you know, that's all I can really do. And this must be a hard fight because Ryu's finally getting, you know, his cardio limits tested. I'm pretty certain advanced treadmill work was most certainly on the curriculum at Ninja High School. How do you fight such an enemy, Ryu? You take your sword and you shove it where the sun don't shine. That's a long way to go to ruin a perfectly good sword, I know, but cut me some slack here, I'm working with what the game gives me. I'm just gonna, you know, re-reference my theory about all the homosexuality in this game, because HR Geiger style final bosses notwithstanding. And the sad thing about this final phase boss is that it is, in my fuck-ups aside, disgustingly simple to deal with. It's just all the deaths come from me trying to speed the process up a bit, because I'd already spent far too long putting it together. And yeah, while the boss isn't taking any, you know, health meter damage from these strikes, he is actually being hurt. But it's a very boring boss fight for this first bit, because the entire strategy is leap in once, slash him, leap back out, dodge the red balls he's spitting at you, hit him again, get back out from the claws. It's really a very simple pattern that moves quite slowly, which after the complete clusterfuck that was the last 2 bosses is kind of welcome. This is, in fact, this section at least is probably one of the easiest boss fights in stage 2, which is good because by the time you get to it you've probably got a half a health bar and nothing left to work with. Only downside is it's very sloppy about letting you know when you've actually made a hit that counts. There's you can hear the sound effect on it, but it's very easy to lose in the background noise. And it's quite a slow boss fight overall. Doesn't really feel like a final boss fight. And it feels like a very slow curb stomping. The Shadow clones are of quite limited usefulness here because you can't get that many strikes in with them. You can probably get a couple more in than I've got, because I haven't got any. And now comes the actual important part of the fight. Beating the shit out of the giant purple pulsating thing in his crotch. And people wondered where I was getting my ideas about this game. People really, really wondered. So I'm trying to cover for the complete lack of interesting shit going on right now. I mean, even what's left of his head, I can't tell if that looks like a giant mouth or a giant pussy. The sword has been shattered, which is clearly symbolising his emasculation. Quite possibly with the rubber rings and everything. Now we get treated to about 4 minutes of ending cinematics. Christ, that's worse than Darth Vader in the prequels. And yet again, the final villain appears to be a load-bearing boss. And I'm fairly certain that means if Robert wasn't dead beforehand, he will be now. Because, you know, once again the evil stronghold is elaborately self-destructing. Makes you wonder who the hell built these things, and why the Moog Union does not have any Oc health and safety regulations, because that is clearly an unsafe work environment. Clearly. Now, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen, and it's not like villains are ever short on lawyers, or lawyers short on being villains for that matter. And seriously, did we really need to sit here and watch this for about 45 seconds? No, but they'll do it to us anyway. This whole thing is fucked. Seriously, it's fucked. Really, really. That looks like a silhouette of King Kong that's left. Which would be more impressive than everything in there that just got killed. Where does Mask go? Yeah, I think the other 6 billion people in this world are going to have a slightly different opinion on that matter. Because they really don't care that one bitch is bitten the dust. Because the rest of them get to live. 1 for 6 billion is a pretty fair trade-off. Oh, and here we're going to get a complete cop-out ending. With the sword resurrecting the cliché love interest. You know, if it could resurrect Irene, why the fuck couldn't it bring back Robert? He's a far more interesting character. You know, he's actually got lines beyond "please save me." Oh, did Nintendo have some sort of corporate code requiring happy endings, or... Okay, not happy endings in that sense. Happy endings in the sense that no one important has to die. God damn. This shit just keeps getting worse. You shovel it down and it piles up higher. Lady, this ain't a dream, it's a fucking nightmare. And you're complicit in it. Oh, it's not over. We wish it was over. There's still an entire fucking game. Oh, and Ray, for mentioning that there's actually 6, fuck you. Repeatedly with a garden rake. Yes, it is true. he's been cheating on you with Robert. And every other villain in the game. I don't know if I'm actually going to get around to doing Ninja Gaiden 3. I don't feel like putting myself through this again. But, you know, maybe. And once again we get the sunset ending. And I'm almost terrified of what Ninja Gaiden 3 is going to throw at me. And what I'm going to have to do to make the end results watchable. So, fuck you all and good night. I'm fucking done for the time being.